What's up, people? It's your man, Ever Lover, coming from your mama's basement. I just passed out, dude. Kuzma shot so good, man. I couldn't even make a video the same night. I couldn't even make a video today. I made a video at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's how good the dude shot. He put me to sleep. I'm just waking up hours later. You know what I'm saying? I was so in my sleep that I was dreaming that I was making love to this beautiful woman. You know what I mean? My ears were smoking, my eyes were smoking, my toes were curled up, and while I'm making love to her, I'm just watching Kuzma shoot those threes like choo, them jumpers choo, and I'm like, whoa. And she's like, what's wrong, baby? I was like, nothing, baby. You keep on doing your thing because I'm feeling something right now. She said, what are you feeling? I said, nothing. I'm feeling you. You know what I mean? No craziness. You know, I don't want to make sure y'all guys understand that. But the guy put me to sleep. He shot so freaking good. He knocked me out in the third quarter. I ain't gonna lie to you guys, and I wasn't even tired. I just couldn't do no more, man. I just fell asleep. You know, I woke up in the fourth quarter and seen Beasley was killing. Like, what the freak? What's going on here, man? You know, it was like this. I was excited, but I couldn't get too excited. And the reason why I say that, because everything goes back to Luke Walton. Why must I say that? Because first and foremost, we must understand Luke Walton. Luke Walton is one of the coaches that love to tease you. He got the skill to be a good coach when he's not stubborn and he's actually paying attention to detail when it comes to his opponents. You know, sometimes he does some radical stuff and you head scratch. You be like, what the hell is going on with this rotation? And my biggest problem with Luke Walton also, not only the rotation, because remember, at the end of the day, these guys gotta step up to the plate when it comes to free throws, because they're just as much to blame as Luke Walton. But here's the thing: when we have a hot player, Luke Walton always had the tendency to take that hot player out of the game and let him sit for a long period of time and then bring him back in when we either losing a lead or the team is making a run. Then you expect that player who once was hot to come back in the game to continue their hotness. It doesn't work that way. When they come back in the game, they cooled off because you're sitting them down like you're really helping the opposite team, you know, basically win the game or have a chance to come back. But this game right here, they rolled Kuzma. And I'm going to say this real quick because I want people to understand and realize that. For once in a while, besides Alonzo Ball, is that these players actually were feeding the hot hand. They were going to Kuzma and letting Kuzma carry the team. That's how it should have been. I said this in my videos, I think like 8, 9 videos way back. And I even compared it to the Golden State Warriors when they gave Klay Thompson the ball. When he was hot, you know, they kept feeding him the ball when he scored 50 points this year. They were feeding him. They didn't care about what they scored. It was a hard point about making sure that their teammate was, you know, while he was hot and feeling himself, that they were feeding him, right? Because it's called unselfish basketball. A lot of fans do not understand that. This game right here, you look at this game, you're like, wow, you know, only one really was going off was Kuzma and Beasley and Caldwell Pope, right? But in the reality of it, if you look at the assists, you pay attention to assists. Brandon Ingram had 6 assists. Lonzo Ball had 11 assists. Beasley had 4 assists. Even Caldwell Pope had 4 assists. They were passing the ball. They were actually looking for the hot hand. And they gave Kuzma the ball, which made sense. I've been saying this over and over again. When you got a hot hand, you got to feed him. Kuzma would freaking kill him. Now, I want to share something real quick because I know a lot of fans are having that Brandon Ingram Kuzma fiasco. So I want to chime in a little bit. You have to understand that both of these guys are playing 2 different styles of basketball. I'm not even going to talk about the age because we always use the age as an excuse, and we could constantly say that, well, what about the other young guys that came into the league and they're still killing? So we have to understand and realize that. I've been telling people over and over again that Brandon Ingram reminds me so much of Derek McKees. If you never watched Derek McKees back in the days, those that are old heads that know about Derek McKees know exactly what I'm talking about. Derek McKees had a lot of potential to be good, but he was unselfish, and he would usually give up a lot of plays in order to help his teammates. Brandon Ingram plays the same way. The only time you see Brandon Ingram go overboard is when Luke Walton or the front office is actually forcing him to take over or to do more. And when they do that, they put a lot on his shoulder, and he starts to become more out of control, you know, with the ISOs and stuff like that. When he's playing at his own poise, when he's playing in the scheme of the team, I guess playbook, he's playing much better. This game right here is a prime example. Even though he struggled from the field, right? He still had 9 rebounds and 6 assists, right? Now keep in mind, 10 points, but what he was doing was he was feeding Kuzma. Same with Lonzo Ball. He was feeding Kuzma because Kuzma was the hot hand. So he rode the hot hand, which makes sense. You know what I mean? Why take the ball away from him? I've been saying this over and over again. Like, for instance, Caldwell Pope, when he scored, I think, 25, 27, respectfully in them 2 games back-to-back. And I said, why don't we continue to feed off Caldwell Pope on the games that we lost? Instead, where was Caldwell Pope? On the freaking bench. Lou Walton didn't bring him back into the fourth quarter. One of them until like, what, 4 minutes left in the game or 2 minutes left in the game. So that's why I've been saying over and over again. It's like when a guy's hot, you have to keep him in. You have to play him. Yeah, he needs, a chance to take a break. But when you hot like that, 2 minute, 2 minute breaks here and there. You know what I mean? You don't have to sit him that long. And then you tell your teammates to make sure you find him. Lonzo Ball at that time was only one looking for Caldwell Pope. But like I said, Caldwell Pope majority of the time was on the bench. But I don't compare Brandon Ingram and Kuzma against each other. Kuzma right now, like I told people, I love Kuzma. Kuzma my man. But I would never sit there and say, well, let's get rid of Brandon Ingram. When I told people that if it comes down to a trade, the person that will likely be gone will be Brandon Ingram. But I told people that teams are also looking at Kuzma. So if you're looking to trade, they're going to throw Kuzma in the mix too now with Brandon Ingram. So all y'all talking about the AD trade and all that, oh no. Kuzma will be mentioned in that trade with Brandon Ingram. So make sure y'all understand that. Back then, it was just Brandon Ingram. But Brandon Ingram, I told people, Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball are still under development. Kuzma is one of the players that come straight into the NBA, already know how to score. He's instant scoring. The main thing he had to work on is his defense, which he's getting a little bit better at. Brandon Ingram, once he get comfortable in his jump shot, will be just as good as Kuzma. I'm telling y'all that right now. The two things that hurt Brandon Ingram is his weight and his jump shot. Once those two things take apart, and he ain't really got to be big, but, gain some more weight, that when he penetrates, he won't be getting pushed around. But the good thing about Brandon is that now he's more comfortable of attacking the basket even more because he's making his free throws now. At one point in time, he wasn't making his free throws, so he was losing confidence in that as well. And y'all got to keep in mind, Brandon Ingram scored 29 points the previous game against the Mavericks without taking no three-pointer. Kuzma game relies on an inside-outside shot. He's not going to be somebody that's going to just continue to beat you down low. You know what I mean? He's going to make them shots. That's why he was 5 for 10, because if you add up the five three-pointers he had, 5 times 3 is what? 15. Right? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, 15. You have to be sure, Sometimes, you forget a lot. You've been out of school for over 48 years. But it's 15 points. So you had the 15 to the 41. What do you have? Then you also had the free throws. So you got the 15 plus 4. That's 19 points. That's almost 20 points right there. So that's half of what he made inside the paint. So think about it. Brandon would score all his points in the paint. He take them little 5-foot jumpers, from the top of the key, whatever. But most of his shots are either layups, breaking down the defense, layups, and the opportunity to score. The biggest problem is that it depends on what the Lakers put out on the floor with Brandon Ingram. If like for instance, remember they had Zubac and JaVale McGee starting. Remember that with Brandon Ingram? And, because there was no floor spacing, Brandon could not attack the basket like he wanted to. Why? Because you had two big guys in the middle. That means that when Brandon attacks the basket, the defense collapses. They don't have to move that far from their opponents to actually stop Brandon Ingram. They could just go like up, just slide up a little bit, slide the feet up, and it will actually make Brandon Ingram either pass out or make a turnover or a forced shot. So they knew that. But when you got spacing, when you got somebody like Kyle Kuzma that can knock down threes, and that's why I keep saying over and over again that KCP should be starting over Josh Hart, because Josh Hart right now is struggling. He's playing pretty good defense, but he's struggling. When you only got Kuzma, you only really got one person on that floor that can not actually on a consistent basis knock down threes. Lonzo Ball is still inconsistent when it comes to three-pointers. One game he might have 4 for 8 or 4 for 6, and another game he might go 0 for 7 or 1 for 6. So he's not consistent. KCP is the most consistent shooter on that team as of right now, and he should be in the starting role. That's why I say Lou Walton, rotation makes me scratch my head, and I ain't got fleas, but that's what it makes me do. And that's the thing that upsets me, because KCP is hot, but you decide to bring him off the bench, which is stupid to me. Because McCallum or Josh Hart can come off the bench. Josh Hart can play 3 of those roles, because if you got Brandon Ingram bring the ball down, Josh Hart can play the 1, 2, or the 3, depending on the matchups. So he can still get in the rotation, still get his 20-something minutes, but I would rather go with KCP because he's hot. And not only that, it gives Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball, and even Kuzma when he passed. This game right here, Kuzma didn't pass. But it gives them guys more people to pass out to, and it opens up the floor and make the defense much more honest. It would make sense, Lou Walton. So I don't compare Brandon and Kuzma to each other because they both have a different style of ball play. Plus, Brandon was much more unselfish compared to Kuzma. Like I said, this game right here, Kuzma did not pass at all. Kuzma just was hot. He was just taking it, which makes sense because on this game right here, if you notice, Kuzma didn't really run no ISO plays. Excuse me, something on my throat. He didn't really run no ISO plays. All of his plays were basically off of passes. Here and there, extra pass, or he might put the ball on the floor a little bit like that, but it wasn't. I think he probably ran like 1 or 2, if I'm not mistaken. But majority of the time, it was basically just passes off other players, and he just scored off of it, which made sense. That's why Lonzo Ball had like 11 assists, and Brandon had 6 because these guys will feed him and say, "Hey, what? Stevenson, Caldwell Pope, and Beasley. Beasley didn't really play with Kuzma, sorry. But these guys, you know, as you noticed, they had a lot of assists because they were feeding Kuzma. He was the hot hand. They rode the hot hand. It makes sense. So you're not going to see somebody score with 10, 12 points. And then when Kuzma went down, Beasley came in, so there was no point of bringing Kuzma back in. I was hoping that Kuzma hit 50 because he could have hit 50. He was hot. But Beasley came in and dropped 19. And he was 9 for 13. I would love to see both of you guys on the floor at the same time. You know, if they decide to go, like, say if a team decide to go small, and you want to run Kuzma and Beasley at the, you know, center power forward spot respectfully, it probably will work because both of these guys are pretty good, you know, scorers, and their defense is pretty much picking up. But I really don't want to see them run that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really don't want to see Kuzma and Beasley run that power forward spot. That was just me talking like a real big fan, you know, a fanatic. But I'd rather stick to our bread and butter, what we've been doing with JaVale McGee and Zubac, and that's another thing I want to talk about real quick too. Now, I've been saying that Luke Walton had a 3-center rotation. And I said that he needed to start playing whoever is the hottest. You know what I mean? Some of these centers will understand that if they don't get back in the game, it's understandable. Because if another center is hot, as a teammate, you got to support that player. Just like that player, when he was on the bench supporting you, vice versa, you got to do the same thing. This game, Zubac, he finally kept Zubac in, which made sense. I've said over and over again that when Zubac is hot, that they need to go to him, because to be honest with you, Zubac out of the three, only one can really score on his own. Not JaVale McGee, Zubac. He's still young. Remember, Zubac only, I think, 21 years old, and he's still learning the NBA level, but he can still score on his own. He got a nice little moves down low in that paint. And that's why I say when they run that half-court set with 2 or 3 minutes left in the game, depending on what we're looking like, I would bring Zubac in. You know what I mean? Now, if we're hurting on defense, then I would go with JaVale McGee or Tyson Chandler. But if I need somebody who can score and play defense, I would go with JaVale McGee, who can catch lobs and stuff like that. But if I need somebody where I want to slow up the pace of the offense and keep the defense honest, then I would go with Zubac, because you can pass the ball down low to Zubac, and he can create on his own. That's what's good. Zubac in this game played 23 minutes. He had 9 rebounds and 11 points. And he played within in the flow of the game. And listen, the thing is, when you know that you got 2 other centers and you looking, you know, you looking at these 2 centers and say, damn, I might be out the door, it's going to make you play much better. That's for anybody on this team. If you got somebody playing better than you, 9 times out of 10, you're going to play even harder, because you want to make sure you get that playing time. That's why we see Lance Stevenson get in the game. He tries best to do whatever he can in order to help the team win and also help his opportunity to get more playing time. That's for anybody. You know, which makes sense. So it was kind of good. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to give Luke Walton too much credit, because then there might be a game where you don't see Zubac at all. Sometimes it runs like that. You know what I mean? Where he'll ride the wave for the wrong particular time, and then it will hurt the team crucially. So I'm gonna give him a little bit credit, because he finally let Kuzma go. But you gotta keep in mind, Kuzma one of them guys that even if you don't call plays for him, if he feels as though he's hot, he's hot. He don't listen to Luke Walton. He never did. And if you listen at the last game, and if you also listen to the when they had Luke Walton, when they were doing like a little you know, I think at halftime when they were talking to Luke Walton, and they asked him about Kuzma, they said Kuzma's going off. You know, how you feel about it? He said, yeah, he's hot and everything, but you know, I told him that he got to be, you know, he got to, you know, get more involved, you know, pass the ball, you know, help teammate. No, you idiot. If the guy's hot, you continue to ride the hot hand. This is my problem. I didn't want to go off, but I listened to what he said. Like, yeah, he got to do this, he got to do that. Dude, he scored 41 points. If it wasn't for Kuzma, we wouldn't win the game, brother. Do you understand this? They play hell of a defense, man. Look at the Detroit Pistons, man. They play freaking defense. Ain't nobody scored with 20 points. And you talking about he need to do everything? No, if your player is hot, you ride a hot hand. And the prime example that when the 4th quarter came, you didn't bring him back in. You know, you might slid him back in when I fell asleep or something, but you didn't bring him back in when I was woke. Beasley was killing. Now, just say, for instance, I don't mind that, you know, because Beasley was hot. Killing. So that's okay. But the point is, for you to sit there and say, like, you know, oh, well, you know, you get put a button there, like, you know, well, you need to play this, you need to do this, you know, you need to pass more because you're looking at assists. Screw all that bull crap, man. Everybody else was playing good freaking D. Even Kuzma playing D. Who was Kuzma playing? Blake Griffin. Played pretty good defense. You know, I mean, did you forget about that? You know, Blake Griffin only had 16 points. Reggie Jackson only had 15 points. You know, these guys ain't do too much, man. I mean, did we forget? You know, Bullock, you know, we played pretty good defense. I don't care what nobody say. They played good defense against these guys, and that's the thing. He played good defense he played good defense, and he gave you good offense. Excellent offense. But you forgot that he was slowing Blake Griffin down. I mean, even the rotation, the thing was that they would put 2 people on Blake Griffin to make him pass out. And that had Beasley playing a one-on-one. But the point is, they still played good defense. They read the zones. They played freaking good defense. They actually communicated. They wanted this game. So before you sit there and say, well, he need to do this and that, just like me as a fan, saying that you as a coach should say, you know what? We won this game. The guy came off. I'm happy for him. That's what you do. You know what I mean? Don't say, well, you know, he need to do this. Nah, man, you should be excited the guy carried us. And that's how you should carry it, like that. You know, you didn't say too much about Brandon Ingram in the last game, so I'm not going to get on that because I know Brandon Ingram, your man. But like I said before, these guys actually actually gave the ball to Kuzma, and that's what you're supposed to do as a team. You know what I mean? If you got the hot hand in there, you feed them. And that's why I say, that's why Lew Walton sometimes he's mind-boggling when it comes to rotation, all that. I gotta get out here and get back to work. Now with Lonzo Ball, I'm gonna say this. I know a lot of people say, well, Lonzo Ball only scored 5 points. I've been telling you guys, Lonzo Ball is a facilitator. He's a pass first type of point guard. If you've never seen pass first type of point guards, I don't know where you've been sleeping at, what rock you've been holding on to, you know, vice versa. But the thing is, Lonzo Ball did not need to score when you got Kuzma that was hot. Lonzo Ball was doing just what Lonzo Ball was supposed to do. And that's get everybody else involved. If you look at the game, you got how many guys in double figures? You got 6 guys in double figures. You got Caldwell Pope with 15. You got Zubac with 11. Beasley with 19. You got McGee with 10. Brandon Ingram with 10. And Kuzma with 41. So at the end of the day, you have to ride on the hot hand. And that's what Lonzo Ball did. Lonzo Ball had 2 steals. He had a block. He had 11 assists, like I said. He had 5 rebounds. And y'all have to understand and realize that a lot of rebounds came at crucial moments. And also on top of that, he was, like I said, he was feeding Kuzma. So if the guy is hot, you feed him. And that's what Lonzo Ball type of game is. This is the Lonzo Ball I like. Even though I know a lot of people want him to score, but when you got somebody hot, and you just imagine Brandon Ingram would drop 10 more points in there, you wouldn't think about it. So when you had Beasley and Kuzma freaking hot, you ride them. So the guys played what they're supposed to play. Everybody's not going to score 20 points. Especially when you got 6, 7 guys in double figures. That means that that's good ball movement. And that's what fans fail to realize. You know what I mean? When you got everybody getting the opportunity to touch the ball, you know, that's good ball freaking movement. Forget what the haters say. These guys have been stepping up in the last couple games. And I go back to that OKC game, what they should have won. And that was bad on Lew Walton. And I told y'all that. And also in the Minnesota, not the Minnesota game, because they got blown out. There wasn't no excuse for that. But in the OKC game, like I told y'all, that was Lew Walton's fault. And the New York Knicks game, that was Lew Walton's fault because at the end of the day, it came down to rotation. Also down to that, the free throws. Like I said, when Paul George had them 3 fouls in the first quarter, Lew Walton should be telling his players to continue attacking the basket, especially whoever Paul George was playing. I would have had him continue to attack the basket because Paul George could not play defense because he wasn't going to look for that 4th foul. That was bad coaching strategy on our coach. Simple put. Westbrook had a bad game. Instead of taking advantage of that, we allowed them guys to come back when they shouldn't have came back. Same with the Knicks. There was no reason for us to lose to the Knicks. That was a game we should have won, but we started slacking when we shouldn't. The rotation was bad. And like I said, when KCP was hot, we decided not to bring him in. But anyway, I digress. I'm not going to cry about it. It was an exciting game. We won 2 in a row. Let's hope that we better pour this next game out that come on tonight. Anyway, guys, y'all have a blessed day. I got to get to work. Y'all guys make me late. Y'all have a blessed day. Enjoy yourself. And most of all, please be safe out there. Love y'all.